You want to be respected. No, let me rephrase that. You want to be feared. You want to walk into a room and have the air shift. No applause, no nods, no words, just silence. The kind of silence that pulls the oxygen from the room and leaves them gasping. You see, people fear what they can't predict, what they don't understand. And silence? Silence is the most unpredictable weapon you can wield. They say actions speak louder than words, but silence? Silence screams. It's the kind of scream that keeps echoing in their heads long after you've left. And right now, you're here because you want that power. You've been told your whole life that respect comes from explaining yourself, proving yourself, talking your way into their good graces. But look where that's gotten you, nowhere. Let me tell you something. The loudest person in the room is never the strongest. They're the weakest. They're trying to convince everyone, including themselves, that they matter. But you're going to be different. You're going to be silent, unreadable, unshakable. And by the end of this, you'll understand why silence is the loudest weapon you'll ever wield. Here's the reality you're living in. People don't take you seriously. Maybe they smile to your face, but behind your back, they don't respect you. Why? Because you've been playing their game, following their rules. You've been taught to explain yourself, to ask for permission, to prove your worth with words. But the truth is, people don't respect words, they respect presence. Think about it. How many times have you walked into a room and felt invisible? How often have you tried to contribute, only to be ignored or dismissed? How many times have you explained yourself thinking it would earn you respect, only to feel even smaller when your words fell on deaf ears? It's exhausting, isn't it? Trying to get people to see you, to hear you, to take you seriously. And it's not working. Do you know why? Because words are cheap. Anyone can talk. Words don't carry weight. They don't demand respect. They don't make people remember you. But silence is unforgettable. People fear silence because it forces them to confront themselves. When you stop talking, stop reacting, stop explaining, you strip them of their power. You leave them with nothing to twist, nothing to use against you. And in that void, they see their own insecurities, their own fears. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable people get in silence? How they start to fidget, to talk more, to fill the void with meaningless chatter? That's because silence terrifies them. It's unpredictable. They don't know what you're thinking, what you're planning, and that scares them more than anything you could ever say. Here's the trap most people fall into. They think they have to shout to be heard. They think they have to argue, to explain, to justify. But the louder you talk, the weaker you look. Because every word you speak is another chance for them to misunderstand you, to manipulate you. Think about the times you've defended yourself. Did it ever make a difference? Did they suddenly respect you? No. All it did was show them that you cared too much about their opinion, and that's where they had you. But when you're silent, you take away their leverage. You refuse to play their game. You stand there, unbothered, unreadable, and you let them drown in their own insecurities. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's a weapon, a mirror. It forces people to confront themselves, their fears, their weaknesses. And the longer you hold that silence, the more they unravel. Imagine this. You walk into a room. You don't say a word. You don't smile. Don't nod. Don't acknowledge anyone. You just stand there, calm, composed, and quiet. And the room? It shifts. The air gets heavier. People start to notice you. They start to wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning. They start to feel uneasy. That's the power of silence. It's not about being rude or dismissive. It's about commanding respect without saying a word. It's about showing people that you don't need their approval, their validation. You're confident in yourself, and that confidence radiates through your silence. Now let's talk about how you can use silence to your advantage. 1. Stop reacting. The next time someone tries to provoke you, stay calm. Don't react. Don't give them the satisfaction of a response. Just look at them, unbothered, and let the silence speak for itself. 2. Control your body language. Your silence means nothing if your body betrays you. Stand tall. Keep your face neutral. Make eye contact. Let your presence do the talking. 3. Master the art of the pause. In conversations, don't rush to fill the silence. Let it hang in the air. Let it make them uncomfortable. The longer you pause, the more they'll reveal about themselves. 4. Embrace stillness. When you're in a room, resist the urge to fidget, to move unnecessarily. Be still. Be calm. Let your stillness amplify your silence. 5. Let them talk. People love to hear themselves speak. Let them. The more they talk, the more they reveal. And the more you listen, the more power you gain. 6. Stay unreadable. Don't let your emotions show. Stay neutral, detached. Let them wonder what you're thinking, what you're feeling. The less they know, the more they'll fear. 7. Be consistent. Silence is a habit. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. And the more consistent you are, the more powerful your silence will be. When you master the art of silence, you'll notice a shift. People will start to treat you differently. They'll respect you more. They'll fear you. They'll talk about you long after you've left the room, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't say. You'll become the person they can't ignore, the presence they can't forget. And it won't be because you shouted the loudest or argued the hardest. It'll be because you stood there silent, unshakable, and let your presence speak for itself. Now here's my challenge to you. Try it. For one day, stop explaining yourself. Stop reacting. Stop filling the silence. Just be. Be calm, be composed, be silent. Watch how the world shifts around you. Watch how people start to notice you, to respect you, to fear you. It won't be easy. You'll feel the urge to speak, to react, to explain. But resist that urge. Embrace the discomfort, because in that discomfort lies your power. Remember, silence isn't weakness. It's strength. It's control. It's the weapon that will make you unstoppable. So use it, wield it, and watch as the world bends to your will, not because of what you say, but because of what you don't.